Hey guys, this is tips and tricks in World of Warcraft roleplay with Duvican, and I'm gonna start with saying that I'm not gonna tell you what's right or wrong when you roleplay because that's all up to every player to decide. But I'm gonna show you some tips and tricks that I learned. Uh, really goes good in hand with roleplay. And I'm gonna start with everybody knows how to say things. Yes, you just that everybody knows. But I'm starting with the emotes. There are these very the pre-built emotes in the game. That you can. This can be seen by the opposite faction. So if your alliance, the Horde, can see these emotes. But if you do the personal emotes, then you do the /E and do like that, then he won't emote or anything, but it's good in roleplay to use that. That won't be seen by the opposite faction. They will just see Duvican does weird gestures. Another good thing to use is this one. It's different how to make it on different keyboards, but what you use it for is when you want to do personal emote, but you don't want your name to be in front of it. You do like this, and then like this. Then you can't tell who's typing it, and it's something like if you hear something in the background or anything like that. Another thing that's good to know that if you're in a fight with someone, some people do it differently. Some people duel their fights, and some people emote their fights. But something you want to watch out are these power emotes. And that's when you or the other person that you're fighting does an emote that you can't possibly evade or do something against. Like this. There is no way the opponent could dodge or something like that. So instead you should use the attempt. That is much easier and much more appreciated. And then you just wait for the other character to answer back. If you're in a fight with a lot of people, which I have been in bar brawls and such, you can get really messy with a lot of people doing emotes at the same time. So you just need to chill down and relax. If you want to do an emote while you're typing a message, you can do. I use the stars, but some people use the arrows, and then it would be like this. Like that. It won't show up on your chat bubble, but it will show up in the chat window. Another tip is if you want to start a fight or you want to look aggressive, if you target a critter, in most of the cities there are critters, or a mob, and press the T button, you go into attack stand or defensive attack stand, and then it looks more aggressive when you talk to someone or intimidate, I guess. Another thing that shows a good way to show that you're in character or out of character, who are the terms, the in character and the out of character, is you walking. either if you're walking just as your character, or if you have a mount and you're walking. It can't really show on my sea turtle because it's really slow to begin with. But that might show that you're a role player or you're in character. Another thing to be a little tip is if you see a person sitting somewhere like on a bridge or somewhere and you're not sure if they're in character or if they're just AFK, it's a good thing to whisper them and ask if they're in character, and if they're there, then it will answer you, and then you can walk up and talk to them. Because if you walk up to talk to someone that's AFK, you will feel stupid for standing there and role playing with yourself. Another thing is that some people have a problem with remembering or thinking about is that you can't know the name of a character before you talk to it or before it tells you your name. Because a lot of people, when I roleplay, I go by the name Dav, because I don't like to go by the name Duviken. So Duviken doesn't exist in character, it's only Dav. And some people have a problem remembering that and call me Duviken, but I never mentioned that name in character. So that's a good thing to know. If you have a problem with it, you can turn off the names. That's easier. Then you have to ask them for their names or click them. You can do that too. Another thing is, if you don't know a character, you can't know what guild they're in unless they wear the tabard and you know what the tabard means. That's also a good hint. Another thing is that some people, if the people is masked or having a disguise or something, you can't recognize them. But there is a loophole here. If they don't emote that they're changing their voice, you can always tell that you recognize them on their voice. Because that won't change. And most people don't think about that because you don't hear the voice when you're just speaking in character. So that's a really nice loophole I figured out. And yeah, the thing in Whoop Roleplay is that it's kind of like a movie that you, as long as it's logical and it follows the story, about everything can happen. Something I'm against is the healing of the light, because I think it's funnier to see the character walking around with bandages and you can see that he's hurt. But some people just flash you with the light and then it's like, off you go. Another thing is the time perspective. That varies a lot, because if like a character becomes pregnant, you don't want to wait 9 months in reality to have it get the baby. So that kind of depends on the person. Another thing is that most people don't care about that at all, but the armor you're wearing, I think it should be kind of natural to, it depends on how you float in the water. If you have a mail or leather armor, you can probably swim, but it would be kind of hard. If you have a plate, you should sink like a rock, because that makes sense. Yeah, that about it. Any questions or anything I've forgotten, just comment and tell me. By the way, I think you will see me here on the Defies Brotherhood on DAV, and I thank for me.